Hello, here we go with another Molly Mine design. This is the Christmas tree, and I'm going to be showing you how to get these done so that they are standalone and nice and clean at the end, front and back. So we start off by putting our wash away mesh into our hoop. I have 2 layers. This is the 5x7 size, and there is just over 14,000 stitches in it. So 1 layer is not truly enough to support the stitches. So I've put 2 layers. If you're new to this, please notice that this is a fabric style. I say wash away mesh. Don't just get the plastic topper kind, though that will tear out. It won't be enough to stabilize your design. So once that's in, step 1 on the machine does this outline. As you can see, that is on there. Step 2 was putting the tree trunk down and trimming around it. I've already done that. And the next step is going to do your standard applique of this piece here. So I will get that done and come back to you. Okay, it has sewn down my shape. As you can see, all this extra is here and I have to trim that off. I want to trim really close to the edge all the way around, just as I did for the tree trunk. I have my fabric all trimmed here, and I've got it back in the machine, and this piece of fabric is going to go face down, lined up right here. And there's got to be enough of this fabric that when you flip it, it's going to cover up this whole section. It's just going to sew a straight line. And here is where we flip. Use our fingers to crease it. And the very next step, we'll stitch all that down. Now, before we move on to the next step, we can take the hoop off the machine and trim the excess before we keep going. Now that I'm trimmed up and ready for the next one, going to be just exactly the same thing. This is the stitch part, and then we'll flip. Now that I've finished this bottom section, the next piece to stitch out will be this base piece right here. And it will be the same as the beginning of this one down here. It will be a standard applique. And then to finish that section off, you'll do the rest in stitch and flip. And then when you get ready to start this section up here, it'll be the same. You'll have one that'll be a standard applique and the rest will be stitch and flip. So we're going to finish laying down all of our fabrics and then I'll get back to you. Okay, folks, I have all of the fabrics laid down, and the very next step is going to start here at this star, and it is going to just be tacked down stitches around each of these areas so that when we put our special stitches in, it will hold still. So we're going to watch this. Okay, see, it's not a full satin stitch. It is just a tack down stitch. And now it's going to go to do the trunk. So I'm going to get all my tack down stitches done, and then I'm going to let it fill in the fancy stitches, and then I will come back to you. Okay, the last steps went down and did the zigzag tacking stitch around all the outer pieces. And now we're going to go through and do all of the decorative stitches all the way through. And then I will come back. Okay, all of my decorative stitches are in, as you can see, and the next step is a simple outline for us to add a backing. So I have green felt here, and I'm going to put it on the bottom of my hoop. You can use whatever backing you'd like, naturally. And as you can see, we have an outline back here, and I'm going to trim this very close. And then I'm going to start the process of the satin stitch on the outside. Okay, so now I have all of the satin stitches done and all of the embroidery done, and we're ready to take it out of the hoop. And now you will just take your scissors and cut most of this from around the edges. I cut as close as I can get without cutting my stitches. So something like that, and then we'll take a Q-tip and clean up the edges because this is a water solvy. So I'm going to clip the rest of this, and then I'll show you what I do with my Q-tips. So this is my tree before I have cleaned the edges. And you can see where there's a little bit of white here. And I'll just take a warm water on a Q-tip and clean the edges off just like this. All the way around until that dissolves away. So that's all you do to clean it up, and just trim the little fuzzies off the back. And then there you are. You have your tree.